Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Hope everybody's having a very, very, very good day or night, whatever time it is that you're from. Look, I know I've been like super inconsistent on here, and I say I'm gonna try to be more consistent a lot, and I don't want to give you guys any false promises or anything. I'm just like going through a lot of like personal shifts in my life, and like my beliefs and things like that, and I'm not really sure where I want to take the channel. And I think I've talked about that before, but I just don't know. I just don't know what I want to do with it. And like I'm constantly worried about like, if I do this with the channel, if I start making these videos, people are gonna, I'm gonna be judged for it and things like that. But I mean, it really doesn't matter. If I'm not being my fullest self, if I'm not being my true self, then what's the point? What's the point in even having the channel? If I can't be my true self on it, then I shouldn't even have it. But I've just been thinking about that recently. But I'm not sure. And there's a lot, like I said, shifting with my beliefs. And I notice it's like I've come full circle with it. Like, so I have a lot of history with Christianity, right? And I'm not going to talk bad about Christianity or anything. I'm not going to talk bad about anything like that. I think it does a lot of good for people. But I feel like I've always used Christianity as some sort of like blanket, like comfort blanket. Whenever I get in a space in life where I'm scared and I feel alone, I'm scared, I use it as like a comfort blanket, like to kind of cover me and be like, don't worry. And I'm not saying that's a completely bad thing, but like I don't want a comfort blanket. Like, I want to go out and seek the truth, and whatever the truth may be, I'll find it. I like to think so, but I'm more of a spiritual person. I always have been. And I always come back to that. Like, there's a lot of reasons why I don't really think I subscribe to Christianity anymore, And I'm not gonna go into it too much, but I just feel like there's a lot of like reasons why I don't want to believe in it. Like, I obviously believe there's a creator, right? There's something out there that created this universe, whatever it may be. It's a force. I call it source or spirit. Think the universe. I use different words for it sometimes, but I'm always meaning like the same thing, right? And I just feel like it's, when I get into these, like, where I subscribe to like a religion or something, like it tears me in so many different directions, and it almost eventually it just starts to like compound in my mind and cause me to be so confused about everything. And I don't like that, right? Like, I want to be who I am, and I want to believe what I believe in, or what I want to believe in, and that's that, man. That's that. Everyone's different. Everyone believes what they want to believe in, and that's okay. Like, like, for example, like, and I'm not like telling you guys to go out and do any of this, by the way. This is just my personal experience. I really like a lot of aspects of like plant medicines, and I'm really interested in that. And I'm really interested in botany, ethnobotany, things like that. Culture I've started to become really interested in this stuff recently, and you know, a lot of I've had quite a few trips on mushrooms, and you know, different kinds. Yeah, I've had only two really, but like two different kinds. But hold on, there's a motorcycle. Hold on, there's like 3 or 4 of them. My gosh. But sorry about that. Anyway, for example, I've had trips on psilocybin, and a lot of the times it's been like some of the most profound, amazing experiences of my life. And like, I start to learn all these like things about myself, and like I break down these thought patterns, these negative thought patterns, and it offers me like, it doesn't like, it's not a fix. You have to put in the work, you know, you have to integrate and put in the work yourself. But in that moment, like during the trip, it offers me like a temporary relief from these like negative thought patterns. But afterwards, you'll notice that like you'll go back into it sometimes, right? You'll go back into those negative thought patterns, you'll fall into them. But when I trip and I have that relief, and it allows me to see things in a different way. And I'm like, okay, so it's possible for me to break these thought patterns. It's possible for me to be a better person. It's possible for me to think differently. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's amazing. I think it could be very beneficial. And I'm not, you know, that's just for my personal beliefs. I'm not telling you guys to go out and do anything. Please don't go out and do anything like that because I talk about it in a video. This is just for, you know, me explaining it to you guys, you know, for entertainment only, I suppose. But I just like educational purposes only. I'll say educational. I don't want to say the word entertainment. But I just I don't know, I think about it a lot, and I think about all the experiences I've had with it, and it's not something I go out and do all the time. It's not like I'm like doing mushrooms every single day of my life, right? But it's like every now and then I'll get this like, it's weird, I'll get this feeling, I'll get this like calling or something, and a lot of the times I won't even have mushrooms, like I won't have them, and I'll feel like, so it's hard to explain, I can't explain it, but it's like I'll feel this feeling, and it's like I feel a mushroom trip coming. I don't know how I'm gonna get them, I don't know when this is gonna happen, but I feel it coming. And lo and behold, like a week or a few days or a month later, I'm mushrooms. They just show up. And I feel like that's the best way to do them. It's like not try to force yourself into it. Just do it when it, like when I feel called to do it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's the best way. And again, I'm not telling you guys to go out and do that. This is just me talking about it. But I don't know. I had one recently, and it you know, I didn't get any like too deep, crazy spiritual insights on it, but it just you know, the message I was getting was like, you know, just be nicer, you know, just be nice, you know, there's no reason to be angry, you know, there's no reason to, you know, be angry about whatever happens, you know, just be nice. And that was the message I got. And you know, it's kind of beautiful in a sense. It's kind of like poetic, because you know, when you're constantly like reacting to stuff in a negative way, and then you have this experience, and it's like, just be nicer. You're like, oh, I mean, I guess I could be. And you know, it allows you to think differently, you know. But you have to, again, you have to put in the work. It's not like a magical fix. But I just wanted to talk about that for a minute. And you know, another one I had quite a few experiences with, I'd say like maybe 4 or 5 times, maybe, I don't know, it's maybe a little bit more, I'm not sure, is like Amanita muscaria. Now, I had gummies that were Amanita muscaria, and this was like, these were like actually Amanita muscaria. These weren't like the research chemicals, right? These were Amanita muscarias. And again, don't go out and do it because I tell you guys to. I have to say this for YouTube, you know. Be safe out there, guys. But, you know, I had one gummy one time, and I made a video and they took it down. But I sat in this coffee shop, and it just came on really strong. Like, for some reason, it was supposed to be a microdose, and it came on really strong. Like, way stronger than a microdose. I don't know how that happened. But I just sat there and I looked at the river, and I just felt, you know, I saw it moving, and I saw the water, you know, rippling and moving, and everything was like liquid. Everything felt like liquid, and I couldn't move. I just had to sit there. And I just had this, all these like profound realizations, like this, it just felt like a very mystical experience, like magical. And that's the energy I felt. It's like life is magical. Life can be mystical. Life doesn't have to be this boring, mundane, you know, 9 to 5, day to day, you know, thing that you go through. It can be very mystical. It can be magical. You can make life magical, you know? And that's kind of what I was getting from that. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think people should be allowed to talk about this stuff. I don't think it should be as stigmatized as it is. You know, we can all have opinions, and, you know, we're all allowed to express our freedom of speech, you know. And I think that everyone should start exercising that right. You know, I know in some other countries, you know, you're not allowed to say certain things, but, you know, but like in America, supposedly, you're supposed to have freedom of speech. You're supposed to be able to say what you want to express, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm starting to do. I've always been worried about others' perceptions of me, like people around me in my hometown. I grew up in a very Bible Belt town, you know, small coal mining town, and, you know, around here people just don't, they don't like that stuff. They're very, like, adamant against it. One sec. Sorry. But they're very against it, and it's like they're so quick to slap a label on it and be like, drugs, evil, bad. And it's anything that that doesn't fall in line with their beliefs or their views. They're like, this is bad, this is evil, this is Satan, this is the devil, this is the devil tempting you, you know. And I just don't think that's the case. I really don't. I don't like when people use their beliefs in a fear-mongering way to slap a meaning on someone else's beliefs and be like, what you're believing is wrong. You need to believe what I believe, or you're gonna go and burn forever. I don't like that. I don't think that that's the way things need to be. I don't think that we should use fear-mongering to bring people together. It's just not the right way to go about it. You know, another thing that, you know, the mushroom was explaining to me was like, everything you do it from a place of love. Do it from everything you do, no matter what, do it from a place of love. And that was a beautiful message to have. And that was on a psilocybin trip. But, you know, I just think we could all do that more. We could all, you know, whatever we do, come from a place of love. And that's kind of I guess you know, what I want to start doing is I want to start getting out there and, you know, gathering people in this community and who want to talk about this stuff, and, you know, have discussions and have open-minded, you know, discussions about this stuff. And I think that's a beautiful thing to do. I think that people should be allowed to do that without being stigmatized. And I'm going to start doing it, man. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not going to feel bad about it to anybody. And, you know, I'm just going to be who I am unapologetically and do what I want to do and be who I am. And, you know, this is who I am. So, you know, I guess if someone has a problem with it, they don't have to be in my life. You know, this is my life, this is my journey, this is my spiritual experience. I'm here to experience what it's like to be Zachary Jones, and that's who I am, I guess. That's my name. But I'm here experiencing this life, and I'm gonna make it a good one, man. I'm gonna make this life amazing. And I think we should all do that. I think we should all make our life as amazing and beautiful as possible, man. But with all that being said, you know, I want to thank you guys for listening to my little rant there. But if you guys enjoy topics like this, just, you know, let me know. You know, and you know, leave a like and subscribe. It, you know, helps push everything into the algorithm. You know, helps get it out there. But you don't have to. If you would like to, you could. But you know, I just want to say thank you for all you guys who watch my videos and all you guys who've stuck with me. I know I changed things up quite a bit, but you know, life has changed. You know, to live life, you have to be open to change, and you know, you just have to go through life at your own pace and be who you are, unapologetically. And that's my message for you guys today, is to just do everything. If I can tell you guys one thing today, before I end the video, it's whatever you do it from a place of love, and be who you are unapologetically. And don't worry about what anyone else thinks of you, you know? Don't worry about what that pastor that you used to go to church with might think of you. Don't worry about what dad thinks about you. Don't worry about what your family thinks about you, your grandma, your sister, your brother. Don't worry about that. Be who you are. Don't be who they are. Be who you are. And whatever you are, you know, just be it, man. Just be it. And I hope all you guys are doing great. I hope all you guys are in a good place or getting there. But, you know, another thing is, like, before I end the video, is like, you know, see your life as a quest. I think Terrence McKenna was, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Terrence McKenna talked about that at one point. And I started to see my life like that. I started to see my life as a quest, you know, kind of like a game or something, or like some mystical experience, you know. If you see your life as a quest, you know, you start, I forget exactly what he said, but like, you'll start to, it just becomes way more interesting, you know. It becomes way more mystical. And it makes life more interesting. It really does. And it's funny because you could look at things in a different way, and it's kind of comical. Because, you know, there's this plant, kind of like plant garden indoor store in my town, and there's like tons of plants in there, rare ones, moss, different kinds of plants, and crazy looking plants. And I wanted to walk in there for a few days ago, and me and my buddy was walking in town, and we were gonna go to the library. I was like, you want to go in this plant store? And we discussed it. We're like, yeah, let's go ahead and go there first. So I walked in there, talked to this girl about all this stuff, and said, you know, I'm interested in, you know, ethnobotany and plants and all this stuff, and gardening and like gardening and stuff. And she we talked, and she told me about all the plants, and there was one called alien abs, and it was a really cool looking plant. It's really awesome looking plant. I really want one whenever I get my own place and I can actually care for it in a good, clean environment. Because right now I'm with family at the moment. But